Hey everyone, welcome back to That Time on Murder, She Wrote, where we look at and discuss random episodes of Murder, She Wrote. The title is not clickbait, that is actually what my show is about. Today, I finally decided to cover what is known to many as the worst episode of Murder, She Wrote, according to Reddit. Due to the scathing comments on this one, I was ready to tear into it with cutting snark, but after I rewatched it, all I could think was, that wasn't too bad. It wasn't even at all bonkers, if you ask me, but it does have a sour reputation, especially towards the character of JB Fletcher, with fans noting that she wasn't her usual empathetic self. So, let's dive into the mysterious waters of When Thieves Fall Out, Episode 2 from Season 4. But, before we do, if you love snarky pop culture reviews, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, or better yet, watch all my videos. Yeah, I know, it's annoying to ask, but I'm going to. Besides, don't you want to see more JB Fletcher, or the Fletch, as I like to call her? There's a guy named Dack Rambo in this episode. Hell yeah, what a badass name. We begin our story at Bill Hampton's car dealership, where a suspicious-looking character stares vacuously into space. Bill Hampton himself walks in and asks the man if he would like to take a car for a test drive.
Thanks, maybe some other time.
All right, just say the word.
Said no car salesman ever. That's how you know this is fiction. Meanwhile, the stunning JB Fletcher is getting ready to go out, but is interrupted by a visit from the weird vacuous stare man.
I'm Andrew Durbin.
Of the Boston Durbins? Andrew tells her he's renting a house in Cabot Cove from a woman named Lila, and Jess was holding the key for him.
I think I may have come at a bad time.
Oh, not at all. I was just going out.
Right. That seems like a bad time. Despite being busy, Jess lets him into the rental house.
Are you here on business?
A little of both.
Ah, that would be Plisness. She gets him settled in and is off to a retirement party for the local high school coach. Cut to two new characters where a man is trying to convince a lawyer that Bill Hampton, this guy, sold him a lemon car and that's why he's in a wheelchair.
I'm helpless as a baby.
And yet I made it here, to this lawyer's office, as a baby. A baby did that. I am that baby. Is it possible to be ableist towards oneself? Anyway, this baby is Arnie and he wants to sue despite being rich from the stock market. Perry tells him he cannot take his case due to a conflict of interest. He's known him and Bill since they were kids and are even going to the coach's retirement party together. Perry begins to shave absolutely nothing off of his face when good old apple pie eating Sheriff Tupper stops by.
Sheriff. Afternoon, Judge.
We understand you've been shaving in here. Durbin comes along needing to have some papers signed.
Oh, welcome to Cabot Cove, Mr. Durbin.
We have absolutely no murders here ever. Later, at the party, Judge Perry informs Jess that Durbin had brought parole papers. It turns out he had served 20 years in prison for murder and needed to register his whereabouts.
That seems hard to believe. I mean, he's so charming and intelligent.
Yes, just look how charming he is, quietly disassociating into another dimension. We finally meet the coach for whom the retirement party is for. Everyone has a laugh over his failed football camp, which was a huge financial loss, so I'm not entirely sure why that's funny. Arnie makes what I think is a fair comment.
I'm still waiting for my counselor's salary.
But no one else is amused. Despite all the men knowing each other from their high school football games, they seem tense and angry around each other. Coach is apprehensive about retiring, fearing it could become boring. Jess assures him that he could come to like it.
Well, I'll give it a shot.
You'll never be able to handle it.
You seem nice. While everyone is leaving, we are briefly introduced to another high school friend named Dan who shows up drunk. Perry wants to make sure he's okay.
Perry, you can't help him. School's out.
I mean, it feels like we could help him. Why is this woman so cranky? As everyone piles into Bill's state-of-the-art Wagoneer, he finds a newspaper clipping on his windshield.
What is it, Bill?
It's nothing.
Very discreet.
Just somebody's idea of a practical joke.
But you just said it was nothing! Which one is it? Nice lamp. Anyway, Bill wakes up to an anonymous phone call which seems to be upsetting him.
Bill, what's wrong?
It's a practical joke. Bill finds a weird jack-in-the-box thingy at his door which explodes with fake money when he opens it. And just in case you're not following, the article clippings are suggesting that Durbin was the hitchhiker who was accused of murder and sent to prison for 20 years. Somehow, Bill is connected to that.
It's just a sick practical joke, that's all. I told you, it's just a joke, a private one.
A practical joke.
It's more than just a practical joke.
They've said the word joke 4 times in a 60-second span. I just need you all to know that. Later that night, he is nearly run off the road by a car with only Bill's wife Allison finds Jess and tells her that things have gotten out of hand and that Bill is frightening her.
Jessica, he's carrying a gun.
It's a practical joke. She tells Jess she overheard Bill talking to somebody on the phone last night, and he said that he was nearly killed, but for some reason she won't go to the sheriff. Not that I blame her, he's pretty terrible.
Now just hold on here.
In case you forgot the plot, the episode takes a moment to remind you. Durbin pays a visit to Bill and tells him the story of a businessman who was murdered in his car by a hitchhiker. He had $100,000 worth of bonds in his car that went missing. He then leaves his own car there for some minor repairs, though it's pretty clear he just wants to mess with Bill. Jess shows up unexpectedly in Bill's office and he nervously asks her if she's interested in buying a car.
Oh my goodness, no, I spend enough time sitting as it is.
Relatable content. Jess figures out that Durbin is the hitchhiker and has been harassing Bill, but when she presses him for more information, he loses his shit and kicks her out. Jess and Tupper decide to question Durbin. He tells them though he was convicted of murder, he did not commit it. He begins to tell his side of the story, claiming that he hitched a ride with a businessman one night. They were run off the road by a few teens playing chicken, and the man hit his head on the wheel.
You're not saying that he died from that bump on the head, because I read the autopsy report.
Amos.
Just let me arrest him already! I love all these little stories with inconsistent fonts and random capitalization. Especially great is parents say they want ballpark, not parking lot. They really got the hard news covered in Cabot Cove. I also love that despite this photo of what appears to be Charles Manson being right there, front and center, none of these stories are about the hitchhiker. I do want to know more about the Twilight Zone manslaughter, though. Durbin says he got out of the car and ran to a farmhouse for help. He also saw a car with... He also just randomly lights up a pipe. Yeah, I picked this up in prison. He says when he got back to the car, the man's head had been bashed in and his belongings were all over the seat. He is certain whoever was driving the car with... killed the man and stole the bonds. Durbin says he is sure he saw Bill Hampton in the car that night because he was in a white coat dressed up for prom, which was happening on the same night as the murder, but Bill was not the driver. He was hoping to pressure Bill into leading him to the driver by nearly killing him, I guess. Great plan, no notes. Jess then goes to the coach and asks if he knows anything, since he was a chaperone at the prom that night. There's something really weird about this picture, like it's been photoshopped or something. Why does everyone look like a cardboard cutout? So... this guy is dead? No body shown in this episode, but it's confirmed to be Bill Hampton by this weird character who looked like he just walked out of a Stephen King novel. It's determined to be a suicide, but Jess doesn't believe that. She notes the gunshot was on the right side of his head, but Bill was left-handed. Look at Sheriff Tupper as he attempts a thought. Observe as he tries to find the brain cell. Jess thinks that this death was set up by someone who didn't know Bill was left-handed, possibly a stranger. They visit Durbin again, who says justice has been served or something while sipping whiskey. I'm sorry. Am I to believe this guy just spent 20 years in prison? Why is he smoking pipes and drinking fine whiskeys? What kind of prison did he go to? This is where people begin criticizing the episode, noting that Jess seems out of character. She is still unsure of Durbin and his innocence, but he maintains it and makes sure to express his dismay, which Jess does seem receptive to. At this point, she just doesn't know who the murderer is, and if justice was really served. From her perspective, a potentially innocent person was killed, so I don't think this character deserves empathy just yet, but let's keep watching to see if the episode leaps off of its hinges. Jess looks through all the files from Durbin's murder case, and she flat out says she believes he is innocent and that Bill and another person may have committed the crime, which all of his friends adamantly deny. They were all at the senior prom that night, so Jess asks if they remember anything suspicious about that night.
We had a hell of a good time. That's all.
I've never seen someone say they had a great time so angrily. Seemingly on the spot, Bill's friends and wife come up with an alibi, saying they went to a diner after prom and stayed there all night.
They were there, Jessica.
Believable. Coach finds Durbin at the docks and starts beating him up, but luckily Jess stops it before it escalates. Jess asks the coach if he remembers anything about prom that night, and he says he left early, then continues to talk about his boys.
Well, what I do remember about that night is my boys.
These are my boys.
You killed one of my boys! Seeing my boys win that state championship for me. Those days, Bill was my boy.
The more he says that, the creepier it gets. Jessica remembers how Arnie said he got rich through stocks, but is now wondering if his wealth was actually from those stolen bonds. so she questions him.
I didn't kill Bill.
In my head, Quentin Tarantino named his movie after this very specific line from Murder, She Wrote. She says that Bill had mysteriously gotten $50,000 to open his car business, and whoever his partner in the crime was got the other half. She presses Arnie to tell her how he got his money.
You ask that question again to me or to anybody else, and I'll sue you for defamation.
Yeah, I don't think that's what defamation is, my dude. In the most badass move ever, Jess sets a letter on Arnie's table and leaves. He gets up to look at the letter, and she marches right back in with this intense gotcha look.
So I can walk. I didn't kill Bill.
He said it again! I'm telling you, this is tied to the Quentin Tarantino universe, it's canon. Arnie is definitely a fraudster, but not a murderer. He actually contradicts Allison's diner story and says Bill was plastered and Allison left him on the dance floor after an argument.
Sheriff Tupper here.
Sheriff, we're out of apple pie.
That's so?
Yeah, we checked everywhere.
You sure about that?
Yeah, we only got pecan.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, let's just get right into this conclusion and why it's irritating. Jess has her epiphany moment and realizes the coach had lied to her about leaving the prom early, as this weird-ass looking picture shows he was there with his team at 11:45.
These are my boys.
Bill was too drunk to drive that night, so Coach put him in his car. They nearly run into the businessman and Durbin. While Durbin went to get help, Coach checked on the driver, saw the bonds, and went into a blind rage. He just had to have that money for his weird football camp idea, so he bashed this guy in the head with a rock, took the money, and gave half of it to Bill to keep him quiet. Then Coach killed Bill Hampton to shut him up even further, because I guess he's afraid he'd spill the beans? But I thought these were your boys!
My boys.
He shot Bill on the right side of his head to make it look like a stranger set it up, someone who wouldn't know he was left-handed. This is just such a weird ending. It feels like there wasn't a good reason to kill Bill. Maybe this dude is just a psychopath. Can you imagine being Jessica? Over the span of this show, she finds out friends she has had for decades are cold-blooded murderers. That is fucked up. The good news is, Tupper finally gets his pie. The end of the episode shows Durbin giving Jess a visit. He seems happy that justice was served, but Jess isn't too happy. She says she is sorry he spent 20 years in jail for a crime he didn't commit, but also blames him for Bill's murder since he instigated the entire thing.
Can't help but think that justice could have been served in a better way.
This is why people don't like this episode, but if you'll allow me to just play devil's advocate, I didn't think it was that unreasonable. Jess is not upset that Coach went to jail. That is justice. She's upset that an innocent guy, Bill, was murdered in the chaos. While he did accept money from Coach to stay quiet, he ultimately didn't deserve to be brutally murdered, as he wasn't actually involved in that crime. He was actually too drunk to even remember much of that night. The episode also gives Durbin's character plenty of screen time to talk about this injustice, so I don't think you're meant to dislike him. I think you are meant to recognize that injustice and be a little bit on his side. I think Jess is more so just conflicted about the entire situation. In contrast, though, just to give some credit to the people who don't like Jess's portrayal here, there are a few episodes where Jessica empathizes with the murderer and lets it go unreported. A really good example is from the episode called A Very Good Year for Murder, where a man murders a hitman and everyone just kind of lets it go. It's a wild episode that I actually have a video on, so go check that out when you're done here. I think the bigger issue with this episode is not how Jess reacts to the situation, but how absolutely abysmal the writing is. I've already highlighted the redundancies in dialogue.
My boys.
These are my boys.
You killed one of my boys!
But what bothered me the most is how little motive the coach was given to murder Bill, and honestly, there wasn't much there to cause him to murder the driver in the car either. Like, yeah, seeing bonds of such a great amount would be a little surprising for anyone, but it rarely causes your average person to just go maniac mode. Even Norman Bates from Psycho had a hair trigger. This guy just likes money? Then he has the gall to murder one of his boys, one of his favorite boys.
Bill was my boy.
It just feels a little slapped together in terms of a plot, if you ask me, but what I will say is that the design of the mystery is pretty good. There are a lot of episodes where I just have no idea how Jess got to the conclusion, other than noticing something no one in their right mind would ever notice, but this one stays on track. The clues all make sense here. Nothing is discovered off screen that suddenly solves the mystery. For example, the photo is shown early on that blatantly shows the timestamp, and it is later contradicted by what Coach says later, so a viewer could actually solve this one if they were paying attention. Maybe Jess could have been a little gentler, but I didn't mind it. That's my controversial review for today. I didn't mind it. I'm very open to hearing why you didn't like this episode, or if you agree more with me and don't think it's too bad. I'm sure there are many other terrible episodes worth revisiting, so if you have suggestions that you are just dying to see me talk about, drop them in the comments. And until next time, happy sleuthing. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching my controversial review of When Thieves Fall Out. I hope you got a chuckle out of it, and if you did, please consider liking and sharing it. If you want to support the channel, I have a Patreon where you can pledge a few bucks so I can keep creating content and buying treats for my cat. You can also follow me on other socials if you like art, ceramics, and women with too many tattoos. Links to my Blue Sky and Instagram account will be in the description. If you want to see other reviews by me, I have a couple suggestions for you on the screen. On the left is the previously mentioned Murder, She Wrote review on A Very Good Year for Murder. On the right is a comprehensive video on the worst episode of Columbo, and unlike this video, it legitimately is the worst. Thanks again, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.